We have some big announcements coming out of the Canton Network with their token, the Canton coin. In this video, we're going to talk about some new announcements such as the JP Morgan Chase. Yes, JP Morgan Chase with their coin, JPM coin, is teaming up with the Canton Network. We're going to talk about that along with the other stories such as HSBC working with the Canton Network, bringing tokenized deposit to the real world. We're seeing that this can actually happen. This is a massive play. And we're going to tie it into some other things as well so we get the bigger picture. So don't go anywhere. A lot of good information is going to come out of this video, especially if you are somebody that's investing in the Canton coin. You want to be aware of this information. Let's go ahead and get to the first story that comes from Cointelegraph on April 12th, 2026. Check it out with me. I did repost it from mine, so check it out. It says, JP Morgan will expand JPM coin via Connexus onto Canton Network in 2026, which already settles 350 billion plus daily in US Treasury repo. So JPM coin Connexus teaming up with the Canton Network to bring, listen, $350 billion in US Treasuries repo. This is a substantial amount of money hitting the network in one lump sum, essentially. I know it's going to be spread out across, of course, but the idea is we are seeing a monster like JP Morgan Chase choosing the Canton Network. I don't think I need to tell you guys how exciting and massive that move truly is. But what else was happening around this time on April 13th? This comes out from BSCN, and this one has to do with HSBC. And if you are in the crypto realm at all, you've been hearing about HSBC for the longest time, especially if you're somebody that's teamed up with XRP, Ripple, if you're following that story as well. There's a lot of good information coming from HSBC. It's one to follow, and they are also they're one of the GSIBs, which is the global systemically important banks that can't fail. This means that they will not let this bank fail because how important it is for the global economy. But let's read from the story that comes out on April 13th from BSCN and read more about this HSBC partnership. Check it out with me. It says HSBC completes tokenized deposit pilot on Canton Network. HSBC successfully tested its tokenized deposit services on the Canton Network. The pilot simulated issuance, transfer, and atomic settlements of tokenized deposits. This marks the first time HSBC used the system on a public blockchain environment. The test included settlement against other digital assets in a controlled setup. And BSCN put out an article when we broke it down, but I'll go to the conclusion here. It says, the HSBC Canton pilot confirmed that a major global bank can issue tokenized deposits on a public blockchain, settle them atomically against digital assets, and connect them internal deposit ledger to an external network without sacrificing regulatory compliance. HSBC's TDS already operates across 5 currencies with real-time programmable settlement. The Canton Network will, with over 800 validators, which I believe is now 1,000 validators, 417 million in cumulative burns tied to the actual institutional usage, and super validators including Visa, Circle, and Goldman Sachs provide the infrastructure to support it. The pilot did not announce a product launch. It demonstrated that a technical and regulatory pieces of institutional tokenized settlement is already in place. So essentially what this is doing, it's showing a signal to the other large banks saying, hey, this can be done. We've had a successful pilot. And since this is coming out, you're seeing JP Morgan, JPM coin teaming up with Canton Network. We're seeing Visa already teaming up with Canton Network. This is a go live situation. This is something that is showing the institutions that it's possible, it works well, nothing to be worried about. You guys should join in, essentially, is what is happening. So you're going to start seeing more and more of these bigger banks step into the crypto realm. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Canton Network being one of the major networks out there that is going to bring these institutions in, because as you know, the Canton Network is primarily the privacy layer in which banks need to operate, right? But let's keep going. Exciting news, but I'm going to pop this one on the screen. It is a little bit older. It comes from April 10th from Cointelegraph. We covered it in a previous video, but I think it ties in nicely because we start to see the bigger picture. So check this one out. It has to do with Hong Kong, HSBC, and Standard Chartered. It says just in, Hong Kong grants first stablecoin licenses to HSBC and a Standard Chartered led group. So as we start to see Hong Kong approving licenses for HSBC to handle stable coins, we get this announcement right behind it. And again, this is why I was trying to say it's all planned out, guys, and there's no need to worry and freak out about things. If you stay calm and you look at what's happening in the market and you watch what they're doing and not what they're saying, you have a better understanding of what's really happening. And that gives you some clarity to do some proper investing in projects that you may have been considered being shaken out of because you heard this content creator talking about this, or you read this headline over here. But when you step back and put it all together, you see that this is the plan. You see that these major institutions are working together, not against each other. And even these bigger crypto projects are working with each other and complementary to each other, not against each other. And that example coming from HSBC and Standard Chartered, reason I bring that up is one, the licenses, but also think about a company like Ripple is heavily tied to both of those entities as well. So could we see, this is a question, could we see Canton Network teaming up with Ripple to bring not only the rails for the major plumbing for the financial institutions, but we also have that privacy layer now laying on top of that. I know there's a lot of nuances when it comes to XRP and XRP Ledger. People can let me know about that in the comments that already kind of have this privacy ability or one coming. But when you look at it, Canton Network is already being a trusted layer by these major institutions. So which one do you think they're going to choose to step their foot into the water with? It's probably going to be Canton Network as far as the privacy layer goes, right? Now let's look at the validators. This is what we're talking about. There's actually been more validators than 800 being announced. So this again comes from BSCN. This comes out on April 11th, 2026. So check it out with me. And this is a pretty big move because it has to do with Grayscale as well. So it says the Canton Network hits 1,000 validators milestone. As announced by the Canton Foundation, the Canton Network now boasts more than 1,000 individual validators, bringing decentralization to the economy, or ecosystem. Sorry, guys. Canton Coin has also been added to Grayscale's list of crypto assets under consideration, according to the recent announcement from Asset Manager. So now the Canton Network has over 1,000 validators. Think about how decentralized that truly is. And at the same time, now we also have Grayscale considering it. And that's important. They're just considering it at the moment, bringing them in with their crypto asset class, which is huge, right? This is more validation, especially something like Grayscale, talking about the Canton Network bringing Canton Coin in. That's more validation. You might be on the right track if you are somebody that's investing in this project. Hey guys, while we're here, can you please hit that like button? Crypto space is definitely down on YouTube, across Twitter as well. So any kind of help is immensely appreciated. And if you like this kind of reporting where there's no hype or hopium, just facts, please consider that subscribe button. We would love to have you part of the channel. Now let's get back into it. We talked about HSBC, we're talking about JP Morgan, we're talking about Grayscale, all these major institutions, but the other one that actually is an older story but is being re-highlighted from the Canton Network is the partnership with BNY and also Goldman Sachs. Another big indicator that this is a great project. So check out this post. It comes out on April 12th, 2026 from the Canton Foundation. Read along with me. It says, spotlight on premier member BNY. BNY Global sits at the heart of the world's capital markets with $59.3 trillion in assets under custody and administration, $2.2 trillion in assets under management. They are the core infrastructure participant in global finance. On Canton Network, BNY brings the same infrastructure role, participated in Canton's most comprehensive tokenized RWA pilot, 22 distributed ledger applications, 350 simulated transactions across tokenized securities, MMFs, deposits, repos, securities, lending, and margin workflows. Used Canton in the U.S. Regulatory Liability Network, or RLN/RSN projects, working with Goldman Sachs to represent tokenized money market fund shares on GSDAP built on digital asset technology, making them usable as institutional collateral, pushing programmable on-chain cash and deposit tokenization for real-time collateral and settlement workflows. BNY is here because Canton is coordination layer for layer that makes institutional tokenized assets, collateral, mobility, and interoperable settlement actually work. So a company like BNY with over $59.3 trillion assets under management and administration, that is a massive player, guys. I don't think it's any more clear than that. But another piece of the puzzle is, who is the main custodial for RLUSD? being watermelon. Again, another nod, in my opinion, if we're putting these two together. Could we see, is it possible, could we see Ripple teaming up with the Canton Network, also XRP Ledger, right? Can all these work together in one ecosystem? I think it's possible, guys. So what else was coming out is on April 9th, 2026 from the Canton Foundation is how all this is kind of coming together, another leg up for the Canton Network. Read along with me on this one, check it out. It says Transcend, a collateral and liquidity optimization platform connecting 45 plus CCPs and 5 tri-party agents, has integrated with Canton Network. The integration lets institutions move collateral and cash in real time across counterparties using a mix of traditional and tokenized assets without restructuring their existing operating models. Transcending Street is also building a node as a service on Canton and two-way APIs to bridge DeFi and TradFi systems. So essentially, with all these partnerships together, Canton is becoming a massive beast that's going to be unstoppable once they have all these partnerships together. Something like Transcend is going to be a nice move for them as well, bringing that DeFi and TradFi together, like they're saying, be able to connect these different APIs and be able to switch the money around, the currencies around, and these tokens around without having to go through wrappers, etc., is a massive move. When you think about the institutions, they're going to want something seamless, simple. They do not want to think too much about this. They don't want to have a lot of risk at hand. And something like Canton Network with the Canton Coin is making that possible for them to make it super easy and transition smoothly for them, right, essentially. And as all this is coming out, we know that Visa is also with Canton Network. Check out a recent announcement coming from Visa, and it has to do with Bitcoin. And now we know Bitcoin is being pushed now here recently, especially with Bitcoin Fi or BTC Fi. But we're seeing now Visa stepping in the game with it. So check it out, coming from Crypto Russ on April 13th, 2026. Check it out. It says Visa launches Bitcoin only card with up to 3.5% BTC rewards. Visa plans to roll out stablecoin cards in 100 plus countries, enabling spending with USD coins across 175 million merchants. At the same time, a Bitcoin only card with Fold offers up to 3.5 back in Bitcoin. We know Visa has been pushing crypto hard. They're stepping in a major way. They're offering now the Bitcoin only card, pushing stable coins. What you're seeing here is not just announcements from Visa, but you're seeing the financial institution at large, the thing that we're talking about actually being restructured. They're giving us signals here in real time that this is happening. And what's interesting is they're doing it at a time when the market is at its extreme lowest. Everybody's bottomed out. All the retail is gone. So if you're watching this in real time at the time of this recording is released, you're one of the people, I guarantee you, are the people that are actually fully bought into crypto. They understand, you understand what's really going on out here, and you're not getting shaken out. So again, good for you, because this is the stuff we need to follow, not all the hype and hopium and price charts that other creators might have you believe, right? Hopefully you guys enjoying this kind of information. You have a better understanding what's going on out there. You understand that, hey, this is coming like a freight train in real time, and you got to get ready for it. It's going to get rocky, but this is a part of the investments. Just hang tight. We're almost there. That's all I have for you in this video. Before I let you go, though, take care of yourself, take care of the people around you, and become that change you want to see. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'll see you on the next one.